I think obviously football's a world game. It's played everywhere. You know, it's unique in that fact that most other sports we play here in Australia are only played maybe in 2 or 3 other countries around the world. With AFL, it's the only country it's played. So I think also Australia's a very multicultural country, and for all those people that have come here from all over the world in their country, they play football, and you know, that I think is why so many people love the game here. You know, a game that you can either play professionally or you can head down the park with your mates and have a kick around and just have as much fun, you know, doing that as well. And I remember in Brazil when we played the World Cup there, the atmosphere and the way they watch football was unbelievable. It was just like a huge party. You know, they enjoy themselves so much. You know, they'll have a few drinks, they'll dance, they'll watch the game, and it's a completely different experience to obviously what it is here in Australia. I think in Australia we're sport for choice in sport. You know, we've got rugby league, we've got AFL, we've got cricket, we've got basketball, you can keep going, you can name 10, 15 sports, whatever it is, but then you go to Brazil, you go to England, and it's just football, you know, and that's the difference for me. I think for them it's like life over there, it's their livelihood. As soon as you are born into the world, your dad or your mum will give you a team pretty much, and I think that's what we sort of got to get to in Australia, because it's like that a little bit with the AFL, especially Melbourne, and a little bit with the NRL as well. But because the A-League's so young at the moment, we probably don't have that culture within it yet. But you know, when we see the supporters now have children and then their supporters, and then they grow up supporting the same team, that next generation I think is where we'll see the growth. So you know, when the fans now come to a Sydney FC game and then they have a little kid, that kid becomes a Sydney FC fan, and then he'll grow up and his kid will be a Sydney FC fan. And I think that's sort of the next generational thing will start to kick in, and it'll be a lot like it is overseas in the Brazils, in the Englands, in the Germanys and whatnot. Look, I just started playing it at a young age, and as mentioned before, my parents just took me down to have a kick around, and I just enjoyed it, I loved it. It wasn't probably until I was 15, 16 that I thought I could actually make a go of it and become a professional. Up until then it was just fun. I liked playing with my mates, used to play Saturday one team and Sunday another team, and it wasn't too serious. But then I guess when you get to a certain age is when you need to sort of make a choice, and I was lucky enough to have the choice to become a professional, and that's I guess when things get a little bit more serious. But to start with, it was just about enjoyment and mateship and having a bit of fun. I'd love it. I'd just love the sport to continue growing. You know, I think as mentioned, we're still pretty young in terms of the league being only 12, 13 years old, whatever it is. You know, I'd love to see when we're 20, 30 years old that we're getting, 20,000 at least to every game. We've got maybe 16 teams in the comp. We've got a great pathway for youngsters to come through and give them a chance, instead of having to lose them to an overseas club or whatnot. So I think we're on the right path, but obviously still a lot of work to do. I'd like to see the league going from strength to strength. Financially, the club's doing better. The FA Cup's a great thing. I think that's taken off, which is fantastic. You know, we see how popular the cup games are in England and Germany and countries like this. So I think we're definitely heading in the right direction, but as mentioned, we've still got a little bit of work to do.